Previously on the GAA2 Resolve. That last vilification by the defense was an affront to the entire British legal system. I will not stand for this. Okay, wait, I will stand. It's clear that Barclay Prison is hiding something. It's clear that the jailbreak was masterminded by somebody in the prosecutor's office. It's clear that some malicious negotiations your lordship just gonna gloss over. And now, back to the scene of the crime. Oh, man, we're getting on to the end of the Chapter 5 case here, the final case of GAA2 Chronicles. And, man, just when you think things can't get any crazier, or craxier, which is also a word as far as my sister and I are concerned, we are now talking about the Asogi Papers. And, like, if you know what's happening, you know. If you don't, you probably shouldn't be watching this, but, that's okay. Here we go. As the warder responsible for the condemned convicts, I attended to Mr. Asogi and kept watch over his cell. The night after he was found guilty in court, he was doing something with that will in his cell. We turned the cell inside out looking for it after the execution, but to no avail. I only found out about the Asogi Papers when a directive came telling me to impound them. The document was in the folds of the fellow's robe that he was left in the cell. A kimono, I think it's called. Kimono? Huh. Didn't think he was the type. No. In his kimono? That's a lie! Oh, So we searched every inch of the man's cell. We looked through all his clothes. It can't be true. Were you not satisfied with calling me a liar once, eh, you wee whatfinger? Oh, there's nothing you can do about it now. You don't have any hold over me anymore. I don't work for your ass. Other than the hold you like to take on my cravat, of course. Is that what you're going to do, is it? Well, come on then. Come on, Cletus. You gonna give me a good shake again? Or are you too scared? He's totally gonna do it. Oh, man. Little and large. Little by little we rebuild again. We complied with Asogi's will as far as was possible. All of his personal effects were delivered to his family home in Japan. As a courtesy to the homeland of the most notorious killer our country has ever seen. Man. And we were much obliged. I can confirm that all my father's belongings arrived safely. But your father didn't, did he? Ha ha ha! Hi, and you can deny the handwriting is that of your old man, eh? Is it? Yes, there's no mistaking that it's my father's brushwork. Really? And this last will and testament was the man's last weapon, was it? I don't see anything weapon-like about it. I think we can safely assume that the convict was merely prattling, knowing that his end was nigh. Maybe we just don't have all of it or something? So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, please! Oh, we definitely need a face slap for that. You know what? I'm going to do it to myself. Here I go. Oh, God. That actually kind of hurts. Oh, man. It's hit my temples. Man, I hope I didn't just give myself a concussion. Damn. Well, maybe a cheek cushion. Because there was definitely no cushion there. So it was a cushion. Anyway. As the warder responsible for condemned convicts, I attended to Mr. Asogi and kept watch over his cell. Okay. Every detail. We must know every detail. I'm pressing everything from here on out. Like, I just need to absorb everything this case has to offer. So would that mean that you conversed with Mr. Asogi? No, I just stared at him. Yes, certainly. Though there were precious little time before his execution was due. You wonder if Van Zieks is going to respond to any of this. He was remarkably calm, considering his days were very much numbered. He's just waiting. Can I, like, pursue here? What would happen if I just did this? I'm gonna try it.
Excuse me!
Lord Van Zieks! Let me guess. Is there something about the witness's last statement that troubles me? Is that what you wish to ask? Yes, exactly. You're very perceptive. I'm not gonna get penalized for this, am I? Whereas you would appear not to be. Huh? You really need to learn how to read your fellow man, my Nipponese friend. Read them, or reap them. Okay, no penalty. I had to see. Oh man. The night after he was found guilty in court, he was doing something with that will in his cell. Okay, yeah. The night before? Or after? Ugh. I literally just read it. Like, the night after he was found guilty, yeah, because that wouldn't be the same day he got executed. And he pleaded with you to recharge his batteries, apparently, didn't he? Yeah, that's right. And like the Bampot, you didn't tell me. A blatant breach of trust, that was. This animation, I tell you. I could see that the man had a noble spirit. I found myself wanting to treat him accordingly. But according to what you told us 2 days ago, the convict had been strictly forbidden from having any writing materials whatsoever. I do remember that. Yeah, you're quite right. Ah, so when exactly was the will penned? Pen and tell her? You're not gonna tell her. That was before the man was remanded in Barclay, obviously. Yes, at the prosecutor's office under supervision of the relevant authorities. I personally instructed Asogi to make a will for the benefit of his family and his homeland. In that case, why was it found in his cell? Maybe you'd like to get back in your cell, Your Highness. What do you mean by that? Well, if it was penned to the prosecutor's office, then they just leave it there. Uh-huh, surely. Ah! You know, you make a good point there. It's curious. There doesn't seem to be any obvious explanation for why it was subsequently found in the convict's cell. Oh, well, the defense makes an astute point. Well, Governor? We got him on the ropes a little bit here. This might, I don't know, man. It might actually turn out to be, well, I mean, I don't know what I'm saying here. Like, is it gonna not be Strongheart and be him? I don't know. It's gonna be a bit of a stretch. Like, I don't know how much of this trial is actually left, so I'm just recording as I go here. A prison governor can be expected to know the inner workings of the prosecutor's office. You didn't say can, you said no. That's, a betrayal of your... In that case, Lord Strongheart, perhaps you can shed some light on this matter? I'd love to. I'm unable to offer an explanation here and now. Maybe in about 45 minutes. I would have to consult with the notary responsible for the will at the time. Notary! I think I said that earlier, like, don't you have to get that notarized or something? The fact that my father's will was discovered in his cell is clearly inconsistent with what was expected. I want to know why. Another inexplicable mystery, then. And they just keep coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming. Well, the thing is about that will... We turned the cell inside out looking for it after the execution, but to no avail.
Hold it!
Okay. Check the toilet. It was the governor who ordered the search for the will, as I understand it. Is that right? Yeah, and when I reported back that we couldn't find it, he grabbed me by the cravat and yelled, "It can I have disappeared completely in my face." Aye, well, it's done to the governor to keep everybody working as hard as they should. I think the governor needs a wee taste of his own medicine, Mr. Naruhodo. Man. Point is, it was clearly considered a very important document, wasn't it? But it proved impossible to find. That's right. Then before I knew it, it was in the morning paper. That blood-curdling article. Wasn't there something about, like, there was only one article that actually stated somebody's name or something? I think that was about Enoch Drebber, though. The executed mass murderer who'd risen from the dead. Oh, you mean... The article based on Mr. Drebber's experience in okay, yeah, that was about... Okay, Yeah, that was it. Day after I'd read that news, I was summoned to the governor's office. And, well, that's when the awful accusation was made. That you'd aided Genshin Asogi to escape from the prison, resulting in your immediate dismissal. I'm afraid I really don't remember anything after that. Please tell me he's not like the mastermind too, or like he's some third wheel mastermind or something. Hashtag third wheel mastermind. That would have been the hashtag for my Twitch raid if this were a stream. As the governor of the prison, I had no choice. I couldn't have done anything else. Man, you're thick. I only found out about the Asogi papers when a directive came telling me to impound them.
Hold it!
And that directive came from the same source as the one instructing you about the jailbreak? Aye, from the top levels of the prosecutor's office. Gee, I wonder who it could be. What name was on it? I didn't ken afore and I didn't ken now. All I can tell you is that my orders were to do everything in my power to find that document. The directive said it had to be somewhere inside the fella's cell. You're having too much fun. document. Was that the wording? Document, not will? Huh. Ah, yeah, that's what it said. Okay, I'm done combing my hair now. Am I clutching at straws here? I just wonder if it was really Genshin Asogi's last will and testament that the sender of that directive was after. Huh. Sender of that directive. Speaking of the sender, I think we were just looking at him. Continue with your testimony then, witness. The document was in the folds of the fella's robe that was left in his cell. A kimono, I think it's called.
Hold it!
Alright then. In Mr. Asogi's kimono? It's weird that they're being oddly so specific about this. Right, the one he brought with him when he was locked up? Yeah, he was permitted to have his personal effects with him during his incarceration, I understand. That's right. He was granted as much freedom as possible during the few days before his execution. Indeed, he had a number of items of personal significance, I remember. He was very reluctant to part with them. Some books, that kimono, his sword. His sword?! Wait, whoa, really? He had a sword in there? Oh, right, yeah, oh, that, of course. I keep forgetting that, like, there's a connection here. Kadama, the famous sword of the Asogi clan. It bears the soul of my family. I don't doubt it, but I wasn't really getting at that. Forget it being the soul of the clan. Could the man have had a more obvious weapon? Have some respect for Inosuke. Respectful silence? The warders carry firearms at all times, and the inmates have shackles around their ankles. He couldn't have hurt anybody with that thing. Still, he was allowed a sword. But no writing materials? Aye. He wrote that will before he came to stay with us at Barclay, you see. Dr. Mikotoba was asked to bring the necessary Japanese writing implements to the prosecutor's office. A scissori inkstone, black sumi ink, and some Hanshi rice paper, no doubt. I was present when he wrote it, but I'm sorry to say, the letters just looked like a swarm of massive jet-black earthworms to me. Oh, that is actually what he's saying. Huh.
Excuse me!
What do we got here? Are you feeling faint, Mr. Vigil? Mr. Vigil! Sir! It was Scarlet, sir! Hang on. Scarlet? Scarlet and Violet? Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I was supposed to be depressed. Yeah, I didn't mean to blurt it out like that. Where else have we seen... I don't know if that's in the evidence or maybe it was just in a line of dialogue. I swear I've heard something about Scarlet before. Like on somebody's hand or something. Less swaying and more explaining would be helpful. I mean, can we look? I don't know. Introduction dismissal notice. I'm just gonna go through and see if I can find it. Death from a single stab wound to the heart. Oh, shoot, it's right here! Recent Scarlet ink stain. I was just reading this like not that long ago. Recent Scarlet ink stains visible on the little and ring fingers. But this is Clint. Oh, you've got to be shitting me. Okay, was Clint writing out a will? Okay, let's just see what happens here. Is it something about the testimony we just heard? Have you recalled something of importance? Something of importance. Oh, I'm so dizzy. Possibly, or possibly not. I'm unable to tell which way he's leaning, I'm afraid. It's possibly. My lord, the defense asks that Mr. Vigil be permitted to supplement his testimony with this possibly or possibly not important detail. Permission granted, it's not going to get you anywhere. Go ahead, Mr. Vigil. Yes, it was Scarlet. That's all, then. As I remember, the document was written in Scarlet ink, but perhaps I'm mistaken. I kind of don't think we need to press this, like, we found it. There you are.
Objection!
Give it to me, baby. Scarlet-colored writing is what you said you thought you saw, Mr. Vigil. And I believe that's exactly what you did see, but hang on, though. So, was it Clint's will? Was Clint the one that got arrested? Because I don't think so. However, again, you have no evidence to say that. Oh, but no. Have a look at this report. Look at this report! That's my brother's autopsy report. What are you doing with that? Yes, and there's something in here that's bothered me since I first read it. We didn't read it. It states that scarlet-colored ink stains were noted on the fingers of the victim's right hand. Yeah, so it does. Scarlet ink? Now, I'm not familiar with the habits of the British aristocracy, I freely admit, but I would hazard a guess that they don't go all around with ink stains on their fingertips, do they? Your wit is not appreciated. My brother was a well-bred and fastidious man. Should ink have sullied his fingertips, he would have washed his frickin' hands, man. What's your point, counsel? Also, did he use sanitizer? My point is this. Whatever Clint Van Zieks was writing in that unusually colored ink, it must have been directly before his death. Are you sure? Because he died before he had the opportunity to clean his hand. Oh, yeah, well, duh, okay. Oh, that's weird. Huh. I remember something troubled me at the time. At the scene, the lid of my brother's inkwell was open. Ooh. But what was he writing? He went to the prosecutor's office to write a will? Did he know he was gonna die? But Clint was punctilious. Oh gosh, I don't know that word. I feel like I should. About such things, it seemed unusual. And no document penned in the color of the ink that was in the inkwell was ever found. So the document had disappeared. Are you suggesting that the document my father had in his hand that night in his cell was the same document that Clint Van Zieks was writing moments before his death? Ugh, I can't piece this together for some reason. If Mr. Vigil's testimony is to be believed, it can only mean that yes, Mr. Vigil, sir? When you spotted Mr. Asogi with the document in his cell, his precise words were as follows, were they not? Alright then, but what's on that paper? The last will and testament. This will is the only weapon I have left now. He didn't say it was his last will and testament. If the conversation really did go as Mr. Vigil says, then what we now know completely changes the meaning of what Mr. Asogi said. You really think Mr. Vigil did indeed see the convict with a will, but it wasn't that of Genshin Asogi. It's the last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zieks. Huh. Man, well man, but that's the guy he killed, though. That would mean that he had chosen to die. Yeah. That is what it would mean. Yeah. Okay, hang on. Is it possible? Well, somebody would have noticed that, though, right? Is it possible that Clint is the professor? Because, like, I feel like somebody would have mentioned that at some point, but I guess... Well, no, not if he was wearing the mask. Oh, shit. Oh, dude. Clint was pursuing the professor. It consumed him day and night. Whatever happened, he would never have abandoned his investigation before its conclusion. Never! He wouldn't rest until the job was done. Until the killer was caught. The idea that he would willingly accept his own death is obscene.
Objection!
Ooh. And yet we can be sure that he was writing his will moments before his death. And the Genshin Asogi came to be in possession of that document. So what could the will possibly have contained? Clearly something that couldn't be made public under any circumstances whatsoever. Because armed with that document, my father was able to negotiate with the judiciary for his life. It was something so damning that it prompted the powers that be to enact that daring jailbreak plot, on a low battery nonetheless. Yes, there can be no question that the will contained information of the utmost secrecy. Information, the most powerful weapon there is. Of the utmost secrecy. It really is, though. Oh. Maybe, okay, what? Maybe Clint's not the professor, he just went in place of the other guy or something, but... at what point did they put the mask on him? I don't know. Probably just barking up the wrong tree here, though. I've heard more than enough. Pursuing this notion of a phantom nobody can attest to having seen, serves absolutely no purpose.
Objection!
No, my lord, that's unacceptable. Is it now? What did you say, counsel? The last will and testament that Genshin Asogi had in his possession was that of Lord Clint Van Zieks. All the testimony and evidence presented to the court has logically led us to that as a possibility. Ugh, we have a duty to pursue the line of reasoning to its conclusion. But with no possible means of knowing the contents of the document, there is no line of reasoning to pursue. We don't have it, do we? Ugh. We don't actually have it. A reason why Lord Clint Van Zieks, a man of high noble standing, would have chosen death. Information so secret, people in the judiciary would be willing to negotiate the jailbreak of a condemned killer. The only explanation that fits those facts is an unthinkable truth that turns absolutely everything on its head. Is it really that? But it's just too hideous. Yeah, like for Van Zieks' sake, I really hope it's not, but, however difficult the situation might become, you work with your clients in pursuit of the truth. That's what you resolved to do when you entered the courtroom this morning, if I'm not mistaken. Miss Susanoo, that was a lovely title drop just now. I know, so hold your head high. Hold your head high, what? Hold your head high, what? Yes, you're right. 10 years ago, in his final moments, Lord Clint Van Zieks left behind a will. A will that Genshin Asogi was able to use as a weapon to negotiate his escape from prison. In all probability, the details in the will were related to the Professor case. The defense's last statement is mere conjecture. Sit down. What are you getting at, man? Out with it. Ryunosuke? This is not going to be easy. As soon as these words come out of my mouth, there's no going back. Oh my god, how many times do you think that? Well, actually probably not that often. But man, when you are in a situation like that, you wonder, man, everything changes. You just go into a whole other parallel universe. I believe the last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zieks was, in fact... Oh, fuck. It's a confession, isn't it? Yeah, just close your eyes. Maybe it won't hurt as much. You can do this, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe that what Lord Lint Van Zieks actually penned that day was his laundry list. His laundry list. Why the fuck are you ruining this great part of the game, man? Regarding the mass murderer known as the Professor, and his true identity...
Objection!
Yeah, I was gonna say, he is not gonna... Oh my gosh. Enough, counsel. What are you saying? Do you even realize? A confession about the true identity of the Professor. That would mean... Wow. Lord Van Zieks, I appreciate this must be hard to take in. But it's the only explanation that fits. The killer that terrorized London a decade ago and became known as the Professor. The man believed to have murdered 5 members of the aristocracy. Wasn't Genshin Asogi at all. Wow. It was in fact the man believed to have been the 5th victim. Believed to have been the 5th victim. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, dude. This is not... Jeez. Oh, he looked kind of young there when he did that. When your true feelings come out. I think emotions are like the #1, you know, de-ager in the world, actually. It's finally open, is it? Pandora's box? I told you not to go there. The Great Van Zieks family, they've been thoroughbreds of the British judiciary for years. And Lord Clint Van Zieks, he was a paragon of justice in the capital. But he was actually a mass murderer? A perpetrator of atrocities of the vilest nature? If the general public ever found out, law and order in this country would be finished. My brother. Oh, this is too awful. Poor Lord Van Zieks. I wonder, though, did he never suspect? I mean, you wouldn't. Lord Brock Van Zieks is a brilliant prosecutor. Is it conceivable that he didn't realize what his older brother really was? Order! Order in the court! Jesus Christ, man! Lord Van Zieks, I don't expect you to say anything right now. Wow. The professor made use of an enormous hound as his murder weapon. Tell me, did your brother own a dog? Yes, he did. Balmung. He was a well-known hunting dog. People called him a giant. Balmung? Boy, that's almost as bad as Bulwark. Anyway, I don't believe this. When my brother would go hunting in the forest of the grounds behind the house, he always took Balmung. After Clint's death, the creature passed away too, almost as if he were following his master. Oh, it's so sad, man. He was a magnificent hunting dog, worthy of the jewel-studded collar around his neck. Oh! Oh, here we go. Here we go. That's right. Though sadly, some years ago now, it was stolen by a thief who broke into the house one night. Jewel-studded collar stolen by a thief. Wouldn't you know it? It so happens that myself and my colleagues have come across such a collar during our time in London. How could you? How dare you, man? Yeah, look this up, Susanoo. There's no way anybody remembers this. There was an old emblem attached to the collar, too, made of pure gold. Oh, B for Balmung, and there's blood on it. Yeah. It was topped with a small crown and bore an ornate capital letter B. What? An emblem bearing the initial B. It's the insignia of the bastard. Whoa! Oh! Oh, no, jeez. Are you seriously gonna bring that up now? Hound of the Baskervilles! I think the chauffeur did it. He did. What, the Baskerville? Why is that name coming up now? Oh my god, are we gonna get Iris on the stand here in a minute? Baskerville is the family name of my late brother's widow. Oh. That pure gold emblem was an heirloom, which Clint acquired upon their marriage. There can be no doubt then. The collar you've described was Balmung's. The family insignia of Lord Clint Van Zieks' widow. It's crazy how a character that we've never actually met could be this important. Huh. Man. There was a considerable amount of blood on the collar when we saw it. Since we know the dog was used for hunting, it could have been from its quarry, of course. But it could equally have been from human prey. Or human clay. Like the Creed album. Clint Van Zieks really was the professor? Impossible. These Japanese are making it all up to exonerate their own. So in fact, good job ignoring them, sir. The person responsible for these murders of nobles and royals was a noble himself. And that threatened to be an enormous scandal that would irrevocably destabilize British society. Jeez, a lot of big words. My father knew that and was using it to negotiate his way out of the unjust charges brought against him. But at the very last hour, those he'd bargained with betrayed him, slaying him mercilessly on foreign soil. Stop the music! Well, can you deny it, Lord Strongheart? 10 years have passed, And still now, the 6 million inhabitants of our great capital rest easy, believing that justice was done. That, though his anonymity remains, the diabolical murderer was caught and executed. Isn't that good enough? Very well, then. You may have the truth. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, that's the AC. Wait, what? Let me get a timestamp for that so I can, like, when I go to noise reduction, I can... So it's basically just after 30 minutes. Tell me, then. Tell me what Clint really was. Burp. Lord Clint Van Zieks was too pure of heart. He loved Super Paper Mario. When he became a prosecutor and went in pursuit of the black roots of crime, he drove himself into a coroner. And then a coroner, apparently. Wait, let me minimize that. Sorry, I keep doing stuff over here. He came to the uncomfortable realization that to fight the most fiendish of criminals requires one to become even more fiendish oneself. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Clint. What kind of stupid name is that? I love that this entire trial is taking place with the black end of the scales way down, like we just already lost or something. The 19th century was a truly miraculous 100 years for Great Britain, and indeed the whole world. It was good times. New industry, new technology, and with the birth of the Metropolitan Mutant of Ark, new law and order. But these dazzling new developments meant ever deeper shadows were cast on society. Water sullied by factories, air thick with nauseous fumes and crime, growing daily to fill the darkness. Lord Clint Van Zieks made it his mission to combat that darkness. I coveted that darkness, I suppose. But as time went on, it slowly ate his soul, until eventually he was consumed. Happens to the best of us. It's ironic, really, and somewhat surprising, that the truth has once again been unearthed. By a Japanese. Once again? What do you mean? 10 years ago, your father, Genshin Asogi, turned up at my office one night. Huh? Oh, because... the professor... Yes, beyond all shadow of doubt, you must issue a warrant to search his home at once. So he knew. Don't be absurd. The man comes from one of our country's most illustrious families. He's a paragon of justice here in the capital. Yes, that's the point. That's why none of you British can see it. He's using his noble status as a diversion, whilst he commits these atrocious crimes behind the scenes. Do you have evidence? Nothing definitive as yet. But he keeps an enormous savage hound on the estate. We need the full support of the judiciary for this. We're up against a member of the aristocracy. So a large family estate has a fierce guard dog. You should know that's commonplace here in Britain. I'm sorry, but I can't possibly put Scotland Yard onto this based on the tenuous accusation of a visiting student. Oh, jeez. How must that feel? When you know something and you can't convince anybody. So I turned down Asogi's plea. And as a result, he took it upon himself to visit the Van Zieks mansion on his own. We can only imagine, now, what happened between the two men. Though we know the outcome, of course. Lord Clint Van Zieks perished. I don't believe this. So in actual fact, Kazuma-sama's father did... He made the late Lord Van Zieks meet the same fate. He put a permanent end to the professor killings, with a low battery, by taking the drastic measure of ending the perpetrator's life. I mean... what I want to say is that I would have done the same, but... I don't know, it's easy to say that, but when you're actually in that situation, like, it's hard to know what you would actually do. Stuff like that doesn't just happen every day. As soon as I hurried to the mansion. When I arrived, it was easy to grasp what had happened. And what about the will? Asogi must have already taken it. Nothing of that nature was found at the scene. We had no idea of the existence of such a document at the time. Well, crap. So that was his proof then. Jeez. How did he manage to hang on to that all that time, though? I was the only person who knew of the true identity of the professor. So, I resolved to keep it a secret. You don't get to say resolve, sir. This game is not about you. Keep it a secret and go to guard the secret to the bitter end. Huh. So you're admitting to it. That you were behind it all. It was you, then, who pinned the crimes on my father. I did what needed to be done in order to protect the law and the order of the British Empire. Even if that meant employing an unforgivable ruse. Jeez. Then it was you who arranged this fabricated evidence. I ordered that detective to take care of it, whilst keeping the truth from him, naturally. Oh, man. Obviously, he opposed me at first. Are you off your rocket? We can't do something like that. There's no question that it was Asogi who murdered Lord Van Zieks. The house staff have made statements that they saw the man running from the mansion that night. Yeah, well, I've no doubt it was that Japanese fella. But we ain't got a shred of conclusive evidence against the man. And worse than that, he doesn't keep a dog, so we're short of a murder weapon to boot. I'll take care of it, don't you worry. And we're short on time, so you better get going. We must put a stop to this man's rampage for the good of the country. So we'll use whatever means necessary. Do I make myself clear, detective? Well, how can I argue with that voice, I tell you? Blimey. Blimey, look, Peg, it's the tramp! So that night, 10 years ago, when I was attacked by those thugs in the back streets, and Genshin's ring was taken. That was him, wasn't it? That was Gregson, and some hired help? Oh, so it actually was somebody. Well, I guess we kind of figured that out anyway, though, but man. Then the detective handed the stolen ring to Dr. Watson, who feigned its discovery from the victim's stomach during that autopsy. It's all coming together. And in the light of that decisive evidence, Mr. Asogi was found guilty of the charges brought against him. However, behind the scenes, he had actually already struck a deal with his accusers, in which he agreed to silently accept the charges. Holy crap. But I just don't believe that part. As far as I knew the man, my father despised such underhand dealings. Well, when you're accused of, stuff you didn't do, you'll do just about anything. It was extremely easy to make him comply. You see, he had one crippling weakness. What weakness? Oh no. Did he, like, threaten his family? Oh. Oh, this is not a time to be yawning, seriously? Ugh. Perhaps you have no desire to return to your homeland, Asogi. What? Though I hear you have a 14-year-old son. It's funny how I don't look any younger here. Then again, could you really expect them to do that? My nose still looks effed up, though. It looks like Princess Vespa's nose job that she was about to get in Spaceballs. Or actually, the nose she used to have, apparently. Agree to cooperate and accept your guilt without contention. And you will see Japan and your son again. You scoundrel. Yeah, that's what I am, alright. Whether you choose wisely or not, it will be a close trial by order of Her Majesty. So whatever rash claims you might make in court, we'll have no trouble in stifling them. There's only one outcome for you, Asogi. The gallows. But hey, you want to make a deal? Don't forget that I still have a weapon at my disposal. A document revealing a truth that I know you're desperate to keep hidden. Oh yes, the document. It hadn't escaped my mind. Which is the only reason I'm willing to bargain with you. I only want to protect this country's law and order. You understand. It's weird because I kind of do, but... Like, you know, the assurance of millions, but if it's a lie, though, then maybe not. So what's it to be, Asogi? I'm thinking. Kazuma. Oh, 2 yawns in a row, man. This is so stupid, man. He did it for me. But only because you threatened him. And as I told him at the time, my motive was simply to protect Britain from the damage the truth would do. To protect this country's law and order. At any cost. I love that theme song, by the way. You ever hear that? It's like boing 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 beep beep beep. It's just so crunchy. It's not often you hear a song that sounds crunchy, but yeah, that one does. I never dared let myself even consider this possibility until now. But in the light of all this treachery, I have to ask. The mastermind behind the Reaper of the Bailey. Was it you, Lord Mail Strongheart? He's like, yup, it sure was. What you gonna do about it? Let me stand for this one. A rather brilliant idea, wouldn't you say, Lord Brock Van Zieks? You called me Lord. You must still respect me. That the spirit of your late brother, that paragon of justice, should return to reap justice for his sibling. Oh, that's... oh, what? Could there be a more appetizing tale for London's masses, I ask you? Okay, if you're just gonna, you know, use it to get views, then, well, then you suck. So what brazen... I knew that you'd play the part to perfection. But your role really wasn't that of some embodiment of death, no! You were London's guardian angel. It's funny how, like, looking at him, I could see how you would apply the term angel to that, sort of. An angel with bloody hands. I think not. Those who had cooperated with me already were only too happy to participate in my plan, so why not you? Inspector Gregson, Dr. Watson, all those people, all those idiots. Like silly putty in my hands, my minions worked tirelessly to ensure that the finger of guilt could never come to rest on you. It's all thanks to them that you were exalted as the demigod the Reaper became. But I didn't ask for this, sir. I didn't ask for any of this. But Dr. Watson left Britain 4 years ago when he was invited to work in Japan. Yeah, and look how that turned out. So I had to employ the services of his young protege after that. Dr. Courtney Scythe. Oh, man. So what with the execution of the Professor and the subsequent reign of the Reaper of the Bailey? I successfully safeguarded law and order in our mighty capital for the past decade. That's a long-ass time, and when you multiply that by how many people, how many years of happiness I've brought to this world, let me tell you, son, I should be the one who you should be kissing my ass, man! Crickets. My lords, ladies and gentlemen, I do hereby confess, it was I who sired the concept of the Reaper. However, let me say in my defense, birds! It was all for the preservation of law and order across the entire empire. What do you say to that? Yeah. Uh-huh. I can see why people kind of understand him, though. Because I kind of do too, but... oh, God, though. Like, it's... where do you draw the line? That's a tough question. Suddenly happy music here? I don't know. There is no one left now who can reveal the... I'm just gonna listen to the music for a second here. Wow. Can he do this? Can the trial really end now? Hold it! Hold it! Wait, is it Edgeworth? No, it's... I'm probably never going to get to say that again, so I had to do it there. So I have one last question. For the accused, Lord Van Zieks. What? Of course I know that you're a highly accomplished prosecutor, so I find it hard to believe that you didn't have any doubts at all. That you never suspected your older brother. Well, it depends. Like, do you have trust issues, you know? I mean, I personally am not good at trusting people. Even my own family. Perhaps especially my own family, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if that is a problem on my side, or... But, like... But I understand why people do trust each other. Like, I get that. Because it's nice. I mean, it's nice. Is that the best thing you can think to say about it? But maybe that's just it, though. Like, you trust people because you need to. You need to be able to do that. Ugh, I don't know what I'm getting at here. I shouldn't even cut out any of the silences. They're just... Yes, the same thought occurred to me. It was only once, but yes. Oh, I couldn't say that I never had my doubts. Only once? My brother's sense of justice was extremely strong. Perhaps too strong, I observed. At that time, there were members of the aristocracy who were bleeding the country dry for their own gain. And since they were nobles, they were untouchable. For my brother, it was a source of great turmoil. And coincidentally, at the same time, the professor began his terrifying reign. During the time of the professor killings, my brother did not appear to be himself. And that made you suspect? Suspect? Not suspect, he's not suspecting himself. But it was only once, not more. Only once? Really? Clint wasn't the culprit. That was my conclusion at the time. And I still believe that now. Do you have any evidence to support that idea? There's no way. The third victim was the Lord Chief Justice at the time. It was he who had recognized my brother's potential and trained him as a prosecutor. No matter what the circumstances, it's unthinkable that my brother could have killed his friend and mentor. Huh. Do we know who that is, or is that just, like, plot device here? That will do. No more. Who was it that came before me anyway? Whose job did I steal for this? Neither Clint Van Zieks nor Genshin Asogi still walk this earth. However much we debate this matter now, we cannot hope to reach a conclusion. But sir! Don't C-3PO me. There are only two extant pieces of evidence from the time. The woebegone ring that acted as the incriminating evidence to condemn Genshin Asogi, and the 3-page last will and testament penned in black ink and left behind by the man. 3? Are we talking about the same will? He's talking about Genshin Asogi's will, right? It's only 2 pages. Is that gonna come up? Did they just make a mistake there? Or maybe I'm just thinking of the wrong will or something? We've seen a lot of wills lately, I gotta tell you, it's goodwill hunting around here. The wretched truth of what happened is exactly as I have explained. Later today, I will present myself at the Ministry of Justice for whatever sanction is deemed appropriate. That is all. Court is adjourned. No. Here it comes. I knew it. Oh, sometimes you just get so used to seeing it that you already know it's coming. You can't do a thing about it. Thank you, Kazuma, for replacing my batteries, even though it still says low battery. Me? If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have made this 11th hour discovery. Have we really been in here for 11 hours? Good lord, man. My lord, I'm afraid I must insist the trial continue. I beg your pardon? Have you not had enough of this horse shit, seriously? As the court has been reminded today already, we must stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth. And to that end, one particular statement made by somebody in this courtroom moments ago. Oh, was that it? What contradiction? But All I did was ask the accused one simple question. And it led to a big-ass conversation, as it often tends to do. Well, it began with Lord Van Zieks and his recollection about his brother. But Lord Strongheart didn't permit the defendant to speak at length. I just don't like people talking for long periods of time, you know? Have you ever heard of those Let's Play videos? Good lord, how do people watch those things? I merely pointed out that we can draw no further useful conclusions here, so where on earth is the contradiction? Did he hear it? One of them definitely just said something contradictory. It's time to identify who. It was Lord Strongheart, I'm sure of it. Something he said was slightly off. Come on, Renosuke, think back over his words. Find the problem. Find the child. Find the child! Wow, they're just gonna play the whole thing here, aren't they? Jeez, alright. Oh man, Twy just uploaded BK Turtle Ooh Clean. I think I know what that is. Well, they just gave it to us there, didn't they? Of course, they would have only done that if you picked Lord Strongheart, probably. Would you care to explain? Explain what, Council? Among the statements you made just a few moments ago, something you said was inconsistent with a certain piece of evidence we have. Inconsistent? And whilst an inconsistency remains, the defense has a right to pursue an explanation. Renosuke, what? Oh, just let me work my magic here, man. Let me cook. Let me warn you about the statements you are making, Council. They may very well prove fatal. Well, what are you gonna do? Ice me? You claim my words contain a contradiction with which piece of evidence, I ask you, where is it? It's always on the third page, isn't it?
Take that!
Only this, the will left behind by Mr. Asogi. Is there more to it, then? He said there were 3 pages, so maybe he took one out. Yet moments ago, your precise words were... Of course, all that time we were talking about the will being a weapon, then it turned out to be a different will that was the weapon. So the third page might not necessarily make this will into a weapon, but I don't know. Could it be that originally there was a third page? Oh, shoot. For a moment, I thought perhaps you'd identified something worthwhile. Jeez Louise. But it's a mere trifle, I see. Have you ever read those books where there's like one word on the last page, and then that's just it, and you're like, why did they devote a whole page to that? Why didn't they just add it to the last page before it? Well, that's what's happening here. Oh, Governor Caden? But what the hell does this jackass have to do with it? You were present when the Japanese man penned his last will and testament? I was there for sure. I remember the black verum-like scrawls to this day. And I'm quite certain, my lord, that there was a third page at the time. Well, why isn't it here then? You were the one that gave us this 2-page thing. Only the first 2 pages were the actual will, though. If I mind correctly, the third was just the credits, and nobody watches those. A message to his lad back in Japan. What? Well, you shouldn't take that out! It's a message to his son, man. Oh, come on, man. For legal purposes, we required only his will. Oh, legal my ass. And we wouldn't have wanted any uncomfortable words about Britain to get back to Japan, eh? So what was he saying about? Oh my god. So it was decided that the third page ought may be sent.
Objection!
How dare you make that decision? I had a right to know what it said, to hear my father's final words to me. The courtroom is no place for sentimentality, Counsel. But the truth! It's the truth! I deserve to hear the truth about how my dad feels about me. I want to hear him say he loves me one last time. As it happens, I have the third page of the document with me here now. Well, let us read it, please, 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 please. It will be given to you at the end of these proceedings. Oh, no, no, no. You give it to me now. It'll be too late once the trial's over. We need to know what it says now. Yes, we do. Even the slightest thing may give us a vital clue. Slam that desk. My lord. The defense calls for Genshin Asobi's last words to his son to be read out loud before the court now. Your request is denied. The inevitability maudlin words can be of no consequence now. Objection. Well, then if that's the case, then what do you got to hide? The prosecution agrees. The court should know the content of that message. Let's ask the audience. Read the letter! Read the letter! Read the letter! We're testifying here. We want all the truth to come out and everything. Very well then, Governor Kaden. You will read the 3rd page of the document. Wait, you can't read Japanese. I was gonna say, he just called it all scribbles and scrabbles, and here, let Daily Vigil read it. Better yet, let Kazuma read it. This beautiful handwriting, shame on you, Barry. Barry? What? If I could be of assistance here, I'd be happy to translate the words into English for the court. Oh yeah, okay, of course, yeah. You're still here, are you, Dr. Mikotoba? You just never stop being useful, do you? Naturally, I consider myself a member of the judiciary, albeit a lowly one. Perhaps I should quietly withdraw after I've translated Genshin's message. Why, because you already know what it says? Your cooperation is much appreciated. Ugh. He's gotta be sweating bullets at this point. Strongheart, I mean. What is this gonna say? I should totally cliffhang it here. Kazuma, the truth is shrouded in darkness. A darkness only our clan's great sword can pierce. Mighty Karuma, twist thy head and watch them fall. All thy mortal foes. That's the end of the message, it would seem. That was surprisingly short. A haiku poem? Twist thy head. Oh, is that what it was? Wait, I want to read it again. Here, hang on. Oh, it totally is. Mighty Karuma, twist thy head and watch them fall, all thy mortal foes. Mighty twist all, let's see, MKTTH. No, that doesn't work. What if you read it backwards? Seoff Latrom Ihita La Laugh Meth Crystal Meth. Oh man, no, it's Mighty Karma, twist thy head and watch them fall, all thy mortal foes. I mean, it sounds like it's basically just saying kill them. But we know the tip of the sword ended up in the briefcase for some reason. But I think we kind of already worked out why that is, but... What is Kadama? The name of the Asogi clan's famous sword, which you took away. A razor-sharp blade known to all, passed down for generations. It embodies the Japanese spirit. It's not known to me. It's the katana sword that was submitted as evidence earlier in these proceedings. The one worn by the prosecution counsel when he confronted Inspector Gregson. Details of the Asogi papers have been updated. Oh boy. Haiku, though. All these procrastinations are beginning to try my patience. Adjournment of this court is long overdue. As the presiding judge, I have been as accommodating as possible of the will of the courtroom, but this is too much, my man. No new information has come to light. In pursuit of justice, Lord Clint Van Zieks tragically lost all sense of morality. When he murdered his former mentor, clearly he was already devoid of his normal faculties.
Objection!
Jeez. How dare you? I refuse to believe that of my brother. Too much time has passed. We cannot ever hope to know more than we do now. Especially since the alleged will that he penned in his final moments appears to have been lost forever. Huh. Lord Strongheart, you appear to be in something of a hurry to wrap things up. I wonder why. Don't get smart with me. Well, I would call you son, but you're probably older than I am. Actually, hang on. Am I actually looking at this right now? I mean, when else are we gonna get to? No, he's definitely younger. By 10 years, no less. Okay. We heard you state time and again during these proceedings that everything you did was in the interest of protecting British law and order? Yeah, that's right. I stand by that, man. See, I'm standing right now. Without the Reaper, we would never have achieved the reduction in crime the capital has seen.
Objection!
Wow, he's just not even holding anything back at this point. What about Inspector Gregson, then? Who cares about that dumbass? And Dr. Watson. They were no criminals. You used them to achieve your ends, and then you had them killed. However you dress it up, There was nothing fair or just about that. Oh, justice is a matter of opinion. I heard that somewhere recently, and I don't think it was this game. It might have been Raincoat, actually. But it kind of took me by surprise. 'Cause I've never heard anybody say that before, but it's kind of... I'm not saying I agree with it, I don't really know, but... Lord Strongheart. What exactly is it that you're hiding? Look, my teeth? Nope. Dr. Mikitoba, you don't want to know. Were you not to quietly withdraw after the translation of your former associate's will? Why are you still standing up here? In this courtroom, no argument carries weight unless it is supported by evidence. And it would seem that the defense has no more evidence to present. I don't know if I believe him. In which case, go to black screen so somebody can object 5 seconds later. I hereby order all discourse from these proceedings to be struck from the record. Really? But we learned so much there. This is my last chance. Mr. Naruhodo, what am I gonna do? I have to present some decisive evidence now, or it's all over. But can I? Present evidence or wait and see?